Join us today as we transition our mailbox bed from the cool weather loving annuals into the heat loving annuals. And we've got to do some maintenance on these sunshine ligustrums that are a little out of control. Stay tuned. Hey friends, it is Jenny. Welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we have a fun little project here. We are at our mailbox, which is at the entrance to the nursery, and we are behind. I mean, the season has gotten away from us and we are behind replanting this bed from the winter months into the spring and summer months. But hey, right? It's better late than never, right? So we are going to be here. We're going to rip out these pansies. For those of you that are not in the South, you might be thinking, why are you ripping out pansies? Well, for us in the South, pansies are a fall winter crop. So I actually plant these in November. They give us beautiful color all through the winter months, all the way really through March into April. But now, as soon as it gets hot, they get leggy, they get sad, so it's time to yank them out. Typically, I plant this bed in the middle of April, but it has just been a weird year, as everybody else knows, and so we're behind, but we're here now. It is the 1st of June, and we're going to plant these with some beautiful pentas from Proven Winners. Last year, we got to grow these, and they absolutely were stunning. So I cannot wait to put in the rose penta, which is actually a very hot pink, in here in front of our sunshine ligustrums. Now, sunshine ligustrums are a great evergreen shrub, but they do require a little bit of maintenance as far as you just need to kind of trim them at least once a year. They're out of control. We have missed our window as far as like when we should have pruned them. So today they are going to get a very severe haircut. It may shock you some. It's okay. We're going to trim them back really severe, give them a great little bit of fertilizer, and they're going to flush out and be gorgeous for the rest of the season. So what we're going to do first is trim these guys back and then rip out these pansies. So we weren't joking when we said that we were going to give these sunshine ligustrums a haircut. I mean, talk about getting a little trim here. So again, we will give them some great all-purpose fertilizer, mulch. They will be fine. They will be happy. In a couple of weeks, they will flush back out and be gorgeous. Now, what we're going to do, pansies, we're simply going to rip them out of the ground, and then we are going to plant those pentas. Easy peasy. When I plant the pentas, I will put some of the Proven Winners slow release fertilizer in that hole, so that way they have a great continuous food source right at their roots. So let's get to yanking. These pansies pull right out of the ground. I mean, they have a good root system, but it's no big deal just to get in here and pull them out. When I was trimming the ligustrums, I was thinking, oh no, I can't step on the flowers. And then I was like, yeah, I can. I'm getting ready to rip them out of the ground. So then that's why they got trampled. So easy. When we did this flower bed, we had to bring in some soil because we're on a slope right here. And there was just nothing here. I mean, it was gosh awful. So we just brought in a load of, we have a local soil farm, I guess you would say, that they make great compost and different soil blends. So we really enjoy their garden soil blend that they make. In fact, we use that with some of the landscapes where they have no foundational dirt. We just have to bring in some good topsoil. So we brought that in, and then every time I've planted, woo, those are some ants, black ants. At least they're not fire ants. Don't know if you have fire ants where you're from, but good gosh, you don't mess with fire ants around here. They will tear you up. But anyway, so I've mulched this bed every time that I've planted in it. And now, I mean, if you've watched any of our videos where we're planting in the ground, you know how I talk about us having that lovely North Carolina red clay soil. Well, I don't really have it in this bed because of that topsoil we brought in and all the great compost. So this is nice, healthy soil. It's very happy. Plants do really, really well here. Our mailbox is right here. This is my parents' walnut field. And if you've ever had walnuts trees, you've had squirrels, then you've probably had the pleasure of finding random walnut trees in your flower beds. And I just found some. So we have walnut trees growing in the most odd places. And if you don't get the whole entire root, then, see, I'll show you. So I had found this, I guess, earlier in the season, and I pulled it and it just snapped. I didn't get the whole root. So then I got 2 little walnut branches. So if you get walnut trees, hardwood trees, oak trees, poplar trees, any of those, you got to make sure you get the whole root system. Otherwise, they just end up multiple shoots and they're a pain. So, Jenny won. All right, one more pansy. And then we will start placing our pentas. Now, I told you that normally I'll start planting this typically like the middle of April. Again, we're North Carolina, Zone 7B. Our last frost date is typically April the 15th. Good thing we didn't plant it this year like that because we had a frost, gosh, it was like May 15th. It was really late. Pentas do not like cold weather, so you want to make sure that you plant them well after the threat of a frost and, heaven forbid, a freeze, because you'll lose them and you'll have to plant again. So it all works out just fine. So I'm going to show you what these pentas look like. So these pentas have been hanging out in the greenhouse because, you know, one, I didn't want to sell them. I love our customers, but Jenny had to hold on to some of her plants. And then 2, because of the crazy weather. So again, this is not in the primo condition, but that's all right. It gives you an idea of what a penta does. So this is Proven Winners, like I said, Proven Winners Sunstar Rose Penta. They love the full sun. They are fantastic for the heat and the humidity of the south. And one of my favorite things about this plant is that Japanese beetles do not like this plant. They do not come after it. They don't eat the leaves. They don't go after the blooms. They just stay away from them. So if you have Japanese beetles in your area of the country, you know what a big deal that is, that Japanese beetles don't like it. But pentas will get to be about 2 feet tall, 18 inches wide, and be covered in their blooms. As they grow, they will bloom, and then you can see the older blooms just kind of go low, and then they cover. So they grow, bloom, cover. So it's this continuous cycle of growth and new blooms, and they're gorgeous, absolutely stunning. This is a picture of one that I had last year in a container. You can grow them obviously in containers and the ground. They do great in both areas, but they have to have at least 6 hours of sun. And I would recommend afternoon sun because they love it hot. So we're gonna get these placed and then in the ground. The spacing on them is going to be about a foot. So if you want them really close, then you can go 10 inches. We're just gonna see how many I have and how it all shakes down here. And when I plant in a bed, remembering that these sunshine ligustrums are gonna grow forward some. These guys are gonna grow out. I do kind of do a staggered back and forth. I don't really do a straight line, but I suspect once these pentas are in all their glory, it's basically gonna be one kind of big continuous mass, like one big giant plant. So I'm not too terribly concerned about making sure that everything's perfectly even, because I know that it'll all work out in the end. Kind of like the pansies, you really couldn't tell where one pansy was and the next one began. It's gonna be the same thing with these pentas. And I can kind of see where my holes were from my pansies, so I'm loosely basing my placing off of that. Let's see, I think we've got 5 more. Nope, 4 more. So we've got 3 left. So we're gonna find the holes. You know what? We'll just stick them on the ends here. We're gonna do a little bit of a plant shuffle here. You're gonna come this way, and you're gonna go right there. And you know me, if you've ever watched me for more than 1 or 2 videos, you know, I gotta stand back and take the whole thing into view. Jerry, thumbs up? Thumbs up. Got the thumbs up from Jerry, so we're good to go. All right, now this is gonna go really fast because, as you remember, we have this great little auger. We love it. It makes planting, oh my goodness, especially in this kind of soil, it'll be super fast. So, let the fun begin. Dig your hole, grab your fertilizer, give it a little shake and bake, as my mama says. Squeeze her back in her new home. On to the next one. People, 2 hands. Got a little overconfident there, didn't I? That's what happens. You'll notice I am not breaking up the roots. They are not root bound, so there's no need to do that. I know a lot of people always ask me, why are you not breaking up the roots? Well, they're okay. They don't need to be broken up. they're all planted, and now we are going to clean up this mess that I made. Okay, so we have cleaned up the mess. Jerry helped me get all my mess out of the way and cleaned up around. So what we're gonna do is we've just got a couple of bags of good hardwood mulch that we're going to put around the base of the Pentas. There was tons of fresh mulch at the back. Jerry just cleaned it up, raked it up to get all the sunshine ligustrum leaves off of it. So I'm not gonna mulch the back of it because that's already nice and thick. So we're just gonna come in here where the Pentas are, lay down the mulch. Again, we've talked about this several times. In the south, basically there's two options to use as a ground cover in your flower beds. Pine needles, mulch. I love pine needles. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous for about the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then that's it, especially if you're in the full sun like this area is. Mulch, on the other hand, really does keep it neat and tidy. It keeps your bed from washing. This area is on a big slope, so when we have rain, it really does wash right here. This mulch does not wash away. It helps prevent weeds from coming up because it makes a great thick mat that the weed seeds cannot penetrate, and if they do go through, they pull out really easily. And finally, it helps retain the moisture because this area is far away from any water source. I may have to come up here and water these Pentas in the first couple of weeks to make sure that their roots are well established, but after that, they're going to be on their own. There is no kind of irrigation up here, so having the mulch really helps retain that moisture. When it rains, it does it great. Plus, it makes it look pretty. So, I'm going to get this laid out. Pretty simple. Okay, so we are all finished for today. The ligustrums have been trimmed, pansies are ripped out, Pentas are put in and fertilized, and new mulch is down. Now, I know looking at this bed right now, you're like, Jenny, it's not a very impressive bed, but just wait. In about 2 weeks, we're gonna come back and show you how pretty this all is. The Pentas are gonna be blooming, the sunshines will be beginning to flush out again. Remember, we have not had sunshine. This is the first sunny day that we have had in probably at least 2 weeks. The Pentas, they need sun, so they're not blooming right now. But just wait. Once they get some sunshine on their little faces, they've got food at their feet, they are going to be happy and they're going to take off. Remember, doing a flower bed does not have to be complicated and all involved. You can simply do one flower, make a massive impact, and it's gorgeous and it's low maintenance. So I hope this video has given you a little inspiration, maybe some ideas, maybe turned you onto some new plants. If it has, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to Gardening with Creekside, and we will see y'all next time. Thank you, friends. Bye.